What is good, Broncos country? The trade deadline is right in front of us. And as it approaches, the question becomes, what would it take, or what should it take, for the Denver Broncos to move on from our sole bright spot on the defensive side of the ball, Patrick Surtain II? What should it take for the Denver Broncos to move on from Pat Surtain? We're going to take a look at all the rumors out there, what the Broncos top brass has said about would they even entertain a trade for him, then what some teams are rumored to have offered at this time, and ultimately, I need your help deciding, would you make those trades? So which of these would you pull the trigger on if you were George Paton or Sean Payton? If you're new to this channel, my name is Ben. Glad to have you here. Would love if you could like this video, smash that like button, as the kids say. Do they even say that anymore? And subscribe to my channel so you do not miss a single update, because I keep you informed as to what's happening in Broncos Nation. So, Pat Surtain, I remember when Champ Bailey was a Bronco, I think I had a t-shirt. I keep all my old stuff, even a Broncos Super Bowl 32 hat. Good memories when we beat the Packers. But I remember I had a t-shirt that said, 2/3 of the world is covered by water and the other 1/3 is covered by Champ Bailey. And I think this year, the past couple years, you really could say the same about Pat Surtain. He has been absolute beast. We hoped he'd be a beast because we picked him real early. I think that was the earliest the Broncos had ever used a pick on a corner, and he's had some great high moments. He's had pick sixes. He's just been absolutely dominant. And so as we're not doing as well as we'd hoped under Sean Payton, we want to somehow salvage the season and get something good out of it. This is our way as Broncos fans of kind of hedging. So the rumor of Pat Surtain started actually during the Dolphins game is when I first caught wind of this on Twitter. And the first rumor I got that Pat Surtain might not be that happy in Denver actually came from Pat Surtain the first. His father, also Pat Surtain, you can see the tweet on the screen, but he said SMH, shaking my head. For all my folks who don't know the lingos, shaking my head too, as in him, like Pat Surtain II, you deserve better than this. So that was the first signal that this is a little spicy. Could he actually maybe want out? His dad is saying, you deserve better than Denver. He was getting torched by a second string quarterback at that point. Tua had already been subbed out of the game. And as you know, in hindsight, the Broncos let up 70 points with Pat Surtain on the field. So then even earlier this week, Albert Breer in a podcast said that Denver Broncos are considering all of these things. The actual quote that Albert Breer said was that, yes, the Broncos are certainly considering it, and I can read the whole thing here. The Broncos are going to listen to trade inquiries on Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Garrett Bowles, Josie Jewell, Justin Simmons, and even Pat Surtain. According to Albert Breer, Monday Morning Quarterback, very plugged in, very in the know. The Broncos aren't even close. They need picks, and it makes sense to explore getting more. So again, adding fuel. His dad says, hey, you deserve better than this. Albert Breer says we are even thinking about making moves on that. So hypothetically, let's get to the point that the Broncos are indeed entertaining trades for Pat Surtain. Which of these trades do you think would be even something that you would say yes to, maybe to? You deny it so quickly that you definitely wouldn't say yes to it. So here are the things on the table for this. So the first one is from a Pittsburgh blog, and basically the title of this Pittsburgh blog says, 3 trades the Steelers should make before the deadline. Go big on defense with Broncos All-Pro Pat Surtain II. So again, the word All-Pro means you're not just it's not like the NBA third team or something. You are one of the best players at your position. You're All-Pro. So this trade blog says the Steelers should go all in. And here's what all in means to them. The Steelers would send the Denver Broncos a second-round draft pick in next year's draft, and we would send them Patrick Surtain II. So first off, in the comments, that's option number 1, the first one that I pulled up. I think that is total garbage. I think if we're saying the second overall pick in the draft, maybe, but you're going to give us a second for the best cornerback in the league? No, I don't know. Whoever let this guy write blogs should probably take away access to his ability to blogs, because that right there is hot garbage. Let's head over now to the NFC. Here is another option that I saw for, it's getting a little better, a little closer to what I want, and this is an option to send Pat Surtain to the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions, they're coming in hot. They're playing really, really well. They had injury at corner, and as we saw, first game of the season, they handed it to the Chiefs, and they lost to the Ravens last week, but I think there's a real good chance we see the Lions very, very deep into December and January. I think they're a legit team. We'll definitely see them deep into December. Like, playoffs don't start till January, but I think Lions are great. And here's what this rumor says, that Pat Surtain to the Lions for next year's second pick and the following year's third pick. So again, now we're getting a second and a third round pick. Again, I'd love to hear, what do you think of the Lions offer? A second and a third round pick for Pat Surtain. I would dismiss that right away as well. Let's look now at a rumor for the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, I think they are getting close to time where they have to start paying Josh Allen big money. He's done on that rookie contract if he's not already. And after that miracle finish with the Kansas City Chiefs, it just felt like they kept getting close and close and close. And if they don't get over that hump real quick, I think that it could be over for the Bills, and they might need to do like not a full rebuild, but I think they would maybe fire their coach or something. So I think they are in win it now mode, and maybe the most desperate team to win now of any team in the NFL, because they've been on that precipice for a long time. I think that's why ultimately they traded for Von Miller. It was like they wanted to make a difference and they wanted to get over that hump. So according to this blog, the Bills package would be a 2024 first round pick and their cornerback that they picked in the first round last year, who's injured, Kaiir Elam. Don't know much about him. And then next year's second round pick that would become a first round pick if they won the Super Bowl. So essentially it would be 2 firsts, because you would get last year's first round pick cornerback and this year's first round pick. And then potentially if they win the Super Bowl, another first round pick. Now, we know the Bills are finishing top of the league. They're making it a deep run in the playoffs every year. And so a first round pick for them is really like pick, 28, 29, 30. And so you would essentially be getting 230, number 30 overall pick and a player for Patrick Surtain. And I think if you look at the precedent for a top corner in the league, the one I always love to look at is the Jalen Ramsey trade, which went from, obviously, he was the best corner in the league at the time. He got traded from the Jacksonville Jaguars to the Los Angeles Rams, owned by the same owner that owns our Denver Nuggets. And to get that deal done, it was 2 first-round picks and a 4th-round pick. And I think that's why Jacksonville's pretty decent right now, because they've been able to use that and move on and build back better, as some would say. So the question would become, Denver Broncos, would you take 2 first-round picks and a potential 3rd first-round pick from the Buffalo Bills for Patrick Surtain? And I think at this point in the season, it is really hard to think about watching Surtain go and perform for someone else. But I think if you give us 2 more shots at a high first-round draft pick, that'd be a great thing for the Denver Broncos. But I want to hear what you have to say. What do you think? Do you think the Denver Broncos should trade Pat Surtain for a 2nd-round pick from the Steelers, a 2nd-round pick and a 3rd-round pick from the Lions, or potentially 2 guaranteed first-round picks from the Buffalo Bills and a potential first-round pick if they win the Super Bowl next year? I mean, if you think about just like the chances of getting lucky in the draft, it is hard to get lucky in the draft, even with a first-round selection. If you look at the year that we drafted Patrick Surtain to the Broncos, if you look at this list of drafted players, I think you would struggle to find 5 players right now on here that you would prefer to have on your team to Patrick Surtain. Like, obviously, right off the bat, you'd rather have Trevor Lawrence than Pat Surtain. I don't think there's a quarterback on this list you would rather have than him. Someone might say Mac Jones was a Pro Bowler, but I think he's been hot garbage, and I think I would be surprised if he finishes the year in New England. You could definitely say Jamar Chase. I think it's probably more important to have a great a great cornerback than it is to have a great wide receiver, as you see with when has Mahomes ever had a good wide receiver other than Tyreek Hill? Andy Reid has just always killed it without having a number one wide receiver other than Tyreek Hill and Terrell Owens, and he's constantly in the playoffs. So wide receiver is definitely a dependent position. So maybe Jamar Chase, but probably not. Could definitely make the argument that Micah Parsons. So there's two right there that you would prefer to have over him. And other than that, not in Najee Harris, but again, running backs are a dime a dozen. You could say, I think Lions are pretty happy with Penei Sewell. So really, we of 32 dudes, we have one of the best fourth from this whole draft class. And, so even if we get a first round pick, 4 out of 32, the odds are not that great that we pick a player who's better than Surtain. So Broncos country, what do you think? Trade him, keep him, you decide. Catch you next time.